What's up, guys? Cedo Cards here with another video. Okay, I'll try. I keep saying I'll try to keep this short. The last video was 34 minutes, as we can see here. I'll try to keep this as a 25-minute video, just because I don't want to, have such a major run in terms of how long these videos are. But first off, I want to say, guys, thank you so much. We have hit 41 subscribers. I'm recording this as of Sunday, 2nd of November, and I'd mentioned at the start of this week that I was hoping for 20 subscribers. We hit that. I thought maybe 25. We hit that, and then I've just let the channel be carried in the wind. So I'm very, very happy about that. Additionally, as you can see, that my latest video hit 1.2k. Very surprising. I was really expecting sort of 100 views at this point of my channel. I've been doing it for a few, about 2 weeks now, at least properly. I did some a few months ago when I unboxed the Chinese Project K decks, but in the last 2 weeks, we have really climbed quickly, so I appreciate that. I also want to say I'm very fascinated as well. If we look at this most recent video, which has 34 minutes long, we are seeing that even at the 30-minute mark, there are still 10% of you guys watching. So that means from the 1,000 people that have watched this, 100 people have watched this more or less to the end, and has really picked up the context around the market, the holistic, discussion and wider sort of, not macro, but the wider conversation to be had around this TCG, this new TCG, and League of Legends as a whole, and its brand expanding into other spaces. So I do really appreciate that. Considering this is 1,000 views, that means 100 of you met that. And as I said earlier, I was really just expecting about 100 views per video at this point. So I've hit my mark so far. So my goal is at this point in terms of people tapping in and sort of listening to the market, and trying to understand where this Riftbound space will go. So of course, it's the 2nd of November. The TCG is now released. People have their booster boxes. As you can see, I've opened, here's one booster box I've opened. Here's another booster box I've opened. I've opened a few. I haven't gotten much. I have a few more sealed. I have I have 3 sealed, and I have the 2 booster box cases I mentioned. I will keep those also. I've tried, I think where I've been approaching the opening, in the sense of I'm trying to get the chase card. I'm trying to get the chase card. The chase card is evading me. It's running away from me. So I think where I open boxes in the future, open booster boxes in the future, really I'll just be opening it to appreciate the art, what the designers have put into the game. Again, I've played League of Legends for so many years. It's just an appreciation of, the extension of that League of Legends game into the TCG space. So I'm not really here to grab the chase cards anymore. I think if I do want to grab the chase card, I don't know, I'll figure it out. Maybe one day I start to vent and I'll do some POVs at card shows, and hopefully people would sell me their cards and I can maybe trade around other cards. I'll figure it out. But eventually I'll probably have access to a lot of these cards. That's my plan. But I'm not really opening the boxes for, to catch the chase anymore. It's just to enjoy the experience of, seeing the League of Legends format in the TCG space. With that in mind, let's not waste too much time. As I mentioned, I do want to keep this a bit shorter, because I do have a tendency to end up letting things drag on pretty quickly. So discussing the world's bundles, of course we've gone over these a number of times. What I am interested now is that we are sort of starting to see a new floor. So before we would constantly see 200 as the minimum, and we do still see sales at 200, and we will discuss both the the global space on ebay.com and then the UK space at .co.uk, or more the European space in .co.uk, because you do see German, Italy, French listings in the .co.uk space, and mostly you just see United States in the .com space. But what we are seeing in the global space, as far as US and other spaces there, is that we are seeing that floor of $200 start to creep slowly. We are seeing more and more $210, $230, back to $200, then $210, then $200. But we are seeing that push at the floor, kind of pushing up. It bounces back, pushing up slightly. 224, again 180, 230, 210. So we are seeing that floor move up from 200 to sort of 210, and that suggests that the sellers, you know, there is confidence in the sellers that provided they give a reasonable selling price of, you know, between 200 and 230, they know that this is a market that has demand, and that there are customers who are willing to pay that price. So we are seeing the confidence in the sellers of pushing that price, that floor price up, and people of course are eating not the bait, but they are taking that not risk, but you know, they are attaching themselves to those prices and purchasing it. And again, you know, it is still a no-brainer. You would want one of these if you like it. Again, the only reason why I bought mine was because I ended up buying one for my sister-in-law, and it was 2 per account, so I ended up buying one for myself. If you do like it, the team promo is great, the playmat is very nice, then get this. It's an easy hold. If you want to open it, then great. If you want to just keep it sealed, it's a great price point now to get in that, because if you don't want it in the future, it will most likely be worth more in the future, as we are seeing this floor creep up. So you know, we're seeing 200, we're still seeing fluctuations, but we are starting to see more and more of these creeps into the 200 range, just 220 and 230. And I'm sure you guys are picking up what I'm sort of hinting at. We are seeing, rather than just a consistent 200, we are seeing that price point push up slowly. UK side, we are seeing, you know, the equivalent in pounds. And what's interesting, in the European space, it hadn't sold out as quickly as the US. So in the US, World's bundle sold out in about 40 minutes. In the UK, at least, Europe, or in the UK, it was available at least until the next day. So there wasn't as much demand. So now that it has sold out, I would imagine it's sold out. I've not checked just yet. We are seeing, you know, the secondary market now open up. And we're seeing a whole array of prices in Europe. We're seeing £170 here, and if we look at, you know, conversions, 170 GBP to USD, it's about $223. We'll keep this tab open here. You know, we're seeing $170, £219, £150, £190, and we're looking at this. Let's say the minimum is 165, which is probably what, about £215, all the way up until we saw £300 one. This is excessive. But if someone is willing to purchase it, then they're willing to purchase it. Seeing £200, 174. But let's say the general price point is between 165 to £200. Look at £200. That is roughly $263. So it is more or less on brand with what we are seeing in the US space. You know, from £160 to that £200 space. So roughly the $200 to sort of 250, 260 space, minus the one anomaly at £300. Now, I would imagine this is the best offer. It was not best. It wasn't the best offer, interestingly. So someone did buy it at 300. Again, I think you need to be mindful in this space and not just throw your money where you want it. Unless if you have deep wallet and you don't really care too much and you just want the item, then fine. But you know, you should be a bit cognizant of the market, and that there are listings at multiple price points, so you do not need to, you know, throw your wallet at the first thing that pops up. Again, moving on in sealed, we're looking at the arcane set. We are seeing a consistent price point still at 235, which is good. It means that you can still purchase this at a good price level. I would advise anyone that hasn't grabbed this, if they like it, to grab it. Arcane was great. I think it was a good rendition of the good adaptation of many of the characters in League of Legends. I would grab it. I have some already. If I didn't have any, I would grab it at this price point. This is a good floor that we're seeing. It is still stable, but we do see creeps. I mean, you know, when it had initially listed, we were seeing climbs up into the $300, if you guys remember a few weeks ago. Now we are seeing sort of it's stable at 240. We've realized the demand is there, but it's not as crazy. People won't be spending £300 consistently on this. Again, we do see anomalies. Well, this is shown in the UK, so we'll go there in just a moment. But we are seeing in the UK, actually, with it being a smaller market and there being less stock of this as opposed to, say, in America, we are seeing that strong 300 price point showing. And again, if you look at £300 to USD is about £400. So you are seeing a consistent markup. So that brings up a good point, that there is a bit of space for arbitrage. And for those that don't know what that means, it just means you know, where in the US it might sell for $234. In the UK, it's selling for, you know, £300, which is roughly $400. So there is an opportunity for those in the US to sell to those in the UK. So that's just something to keep an eye out for. Obviously, I've got my stock, so I'm not really caring too much about that. But that's just an opportunity. Again, the booster box prices. So of course, we now have hit the market. The TCG is out, and we are seeing that stock is gone. You know, vendors have sold out. So now we now have an established secondary market. So we are seeing this base of roughly $140 in the UK, £140 in the UK. So roughly you're looking at, you know, $200 in the US. But we are seeing just a consistent, you know, floor of 140 to 160 in the UK, and that I find is quite fascinating. Again, 140. And in the US, we are starting to see it stabilize at around $200, that price point. In fact, let me even just reduce it to 240 because we are seeing nothing less than that. You know, we are seeing, as you see, 195, 192. So we are seeing a new base, and I personally do not expect us to see a dip at this point. I think at this point, now that the TCG is out, and that there is a lack of stock for vendors across the board. There will be, of course, restocks over time, but that won't be enough to bring this price down. You might see small fluctuations, but you won't see this collapse back to, say, $150 or let's say £120, for example. We have now hit the point that the demand is there. As you can see, I have 5 boxes in my room. I have one more arriving tomorrow. There is demand for this. It is a good TCG. The cards are gorgeous. So we will see that this demand will creep up and up and up. Now, I will go through these boxes very slowly. And once I'm done, I will want some more booster boxes. And at that point, let's say it takes me a week or 2 to get through these boxes. By the time I'm back, we won't be seeing this $190 price point, or the 140, 150, 160 pound price point in the UK. We will be seeing more the $220, 170 pound, you know, price point. So, you know, I say all this to say, try buy as much stock as you can now. I've got enough for now, so I won't buy more for now. Of course, I will regret it when I do want more stock, but you know, the secondary market is going to be very rough. Of course, vendors will, LGSs, local game stores, your larger stores, they will get more stock. And so do try to grab them when it comes out, but of course those will go very quickly. Not as quickly as Pokemon and One Piece and other places, but it will go quickly. You will still have the opportunity to buy them at retail price, but if you do miss it, when you do have to enter into the secondary market to get your stock, you will see that, you know, it's just only going to go up, and you will struggle more and more to get these. And that's only a testament to what they have created. You know, the One Piece TCG, you know, it's taken a while for the prices to creep up. Yes, it is a different time and space. You know, the One Piece TCG came out end of 2022 or start of 2023, I can't remember. Different TCG space. Much more people are in the TCG space now. Why? People just want to have, you know, a physical copies of things they've grown up on, things they've loved. But at the same time, the economy is in a dire state, and you know, humans are a lot more individualistic. We have social media, we have the internet, where people are now sort of more isolated. We have remote working, you know, work from home. People are socializing less. They want to hold on and enjoy things that they can have for themselves. And you know, the TCG space is one of those things, particularly for people into anime, people into gaming, even people into sports as well. We are seeing people really sweep into this TCG space to enjoy things in their own room, in the comfort of their own room, where they are not really going out as much. They're not going to the clubs, they're not going to bars, they're not socializing at, you know, gaming spaces. So we are seeing people start to enjoy these spaces in their own home. So we will see this price point increase over time. Okay, we're already at 12 minutes, so I won't run on too much more. Something I've not actually kept my eye on, and I don't yet have a copy, is the Proving Ground box set. I do want a copy. I don't plan to open it because I've already seen what's inside it. Of course, it's just a box to introduce you to the League of Legends Riftbound TCG, but this is a great collectible. The cards in there are gorgeous. The Lux card is gorgeous. Annie looks great. Garen looks great. Yi looks great. This is a great collectible. It would make sense to probably grab 2. One, so you can grade. You can send off the Garen, Lux, Annie, Yi cards into PSA or Beckett or wherever you want to grade it. And another one just to keep sealed, because this is a good memorabilia. The Proving Grounds, the first set of League of Legends Riftbound. This is a good one to hold. But we are seeing crazy prices for this. This is £30 or $30 in the US, and it should not be $100 at this point. The game's been out for 2 days. We should not be seeing $100 for the Proving Ground set. That concerns me, because where is what's the logic behind people paying $90 for this? You will easily be able to get this box for a long time. It should not be the box that is 3x its recommended retail price, personally. So that concerns me. But at the same time, this seems to be an item that would be purely for the collector. I don't think, if there are investors coming in from Pokemon, from One Piece, I don't think this is the box they are going to grab for investing. This is more for collectors, people that have played League of Legends that just want to have this memorabilia. So it just surprises me that people are willing to pay this price for it. It will be restocked. You can get it at a later price, but this is what we are seeing at the moment. We're seeing similar numbers in the UK, but of course the equivalent means that this is £90, and if you turn it into dollars, we are seeing, let's do it again, 90 USD. We're looking at $118. It's not making any sense. Obviously we are seeing some cheaper prices, which is good, but of course the retail price is £30. There is no reason why we are seeing these items at this price. It's, I can't, I'm not one to knock people trying to make a buck on something. The economy is terrible. I just don't think this is the item to be doing it on. I'm not this type of person. I like to hold my boxes if I am keeping them sealed, because if I don't want them in the future, at least I can get my money back, but chances are the demand is that they'll be worth more. This is just not the item to be doing that with. I don't know. It's just a bit weird to me. So if we then move to the sealed boxes, yeah, this is interesting. So I had brushed over this previously, but I hadn't really, honestly, I hadn't really paid much thought to this. So we're looking at 1.35k for a sealed booster box, and if we just break it down by 6, that's $225 per booster box. Like, that's a major premium on that. And yeah, it's a major premium that really I didn't really take into account when I looked at it last time. People are spending a lot of money for this premium. 1,200, that's 200 per booster box. It makes sense, but we can only expect this to climb. This will only climb over time if people decide to keep it sealed, and as more and more vendors, I've managed to buy 2 booster box cases. How long will that last for? In the sense of, over time, more and more vendors will get into the TCG space. People that, we've seen it in Pokemon and One Piece. Vendors that wouldn't have touched Pokemon a while ago are now stocking, Pokemon. All these smaller stores are stocking Pokemon, which means that this, the total allocation spreads out more thinly, which means it's much harder to now for vendors to offload whole cases to people, because chances are they might get 2 cases max. And now they need to, where they used to get 4, 5, 6 cases when they purchased from wholesale and distribution, they now get only 2 cases, as I've said, and now they can only limit it to 1 booster box per person, whereas before they would allow their customers to buy a whole booster box case. So we will see these booster box cases go up in price. It's just something to keep your eye out for. But I find it crazy. For example, I spent £600 on my booster box case, and what we are seeing is that these are around the 1,000 mark already. It's a crazy premium, but it just is what it is. And again, just touching on the UK prices as well, we're seeing again £900, £975 for the booster box cases, £800, £900, £800. So again, we are seeing these premiums show up quite quickly for the for this. Okay. So going into the signature cards, again, I'll stop once we've gone through signature cards. I wanted to discuss maybe the non-signature versions again, but we just won't have enough time if I want to keep it between 20 minutes and 30 minutes. So we see for me, the very first sale of the Yasuo signature card, and so we are now seeing the new ceiling in terms of the highest priced card. I thought it was going to be the Ari, but we have now seen that, you know, we are seeing sales of the Yasuo. The initial one I showed was the best offer, as you can see, with the slash, and that was initially Canadian. And we are seeing, you know, 1.7k. We are seeing 1.4k for this sale. So you know, this is the new ceiling I've seen. We've seen Ari sell for about 1.3k, 1.35, but 1,700. This is absolutely the new ceiling. So this is great. Let me just open this one as well. Yeah, this is what I'm looking at. 1.7k, great number. Oh, actually, tell a lie. I believe this has converted the 130 sales has converted incorrectly. So where it's saying 1,700, actually, I believe it sold for 1.4. Maybe I could be wrong. It is saying best offer accepted auction. So it was an auction, but regardless, we're seeing at least 1,400. So we are seeing that new ceiling with Yasuo. Then we move on to Victor. We are seeing Victor sales the price point decline a bit. You know, we did see the 1,000 for Victor, but we are seeing a depression in that price point to about $800. Still very strong, but of course now we are seeing the market become flooded. Not flooded, but we are seeing an entry in the market of these signature cards. So we will see a depression in that price point as it becomes less and less of a seller's market and more of a buyer's market. So we have finally seen the first listing of the Darius signature. As you can see here with the I don't believe it says Rum, I'm not sure, or Kim, sorry, the Kim. So we are seeing the first that I've seen of the signature card. We've seen it sell for 600. I think that's, looking at the scope of all the price points for the signature cards, probably quite reasonable at this point. It's not to say that Darius isn't loved. I just think it isn't a card that really showcases Darius as a character. You know, this is quite not gimmicky, but it's quite the playful artwork. Whereas we know Darius to just be an absolute, you know, villain. And so, you know, eventually Darius will come back with another signature card, and I expect they'll probably go a more darker route for this. And at that point, we should probably see you know, a higher price for that. Again, we see another RE sell for about 1.2k or 3k. We see the one here I was looking at just now. Sorry, for 1.25. So again, we are seeing, you know, a slight depression in the prices. It makes sense, you know, as we do see more and more cards enter the market, we will just expect to see that depression in price. Same with Misfortune. We see a sale of $785. We see a best offer, and if we look here, you know, we are seeing roughly the $700 mark. Initially, we saw one for $935, but we are also seeing $750. So again, it just depends on people, you know, at this point, collectors. If a collector sees the price point and desperately wants it for $900 and the seller accepts it, then you get that. If the seller is fine for $750, you'll get that also. Again, we're so early into the market that we are going to continue to see these fluctuations, but we are seeing that decline from 1,000, 1,200 that we did see initially for Misfortune. Going into set, we do see the set signature as well. So I believe now we've seen sales for all the signature cards. So we're seeing $350. Again, I don't know what's going on with set prices. This could easily sell for more than that personally, but again, it's up to the vendor, it's up to the seller to list it. They listed it for $350. Someone bought it for $350. They could have easily put it for $500, $600, but they were maybe trying to get a quick buck, maybe get their money back so they can again buy more booster boxes or do what they want with their money. But we are seeing $350. I believe this is very low. I'd say, you know, put some respect on set. $600 is probably the minimum I would say for a champion card for set, for a signature card for set. But yeah. So we see finally a Jinx sale as well, at least I've seen. And this, we see a few listings here, you know, best offer has been accepted for this one, best offer accepted for this one. So if we go on 130 sales, we see about 1K here. And if we just do a refresh as well, I believe we saw a different number as well. But we were seeing between 800 and 1,000 for this Jinx. So this is a good entry point into the market for the Jinx signature. Again, I think Jinx is a character that should be respected. She's a great character in terms of what she does in the game. So you would expect that the demand for this does go up, especially the signature as well. You know, we've not seen any PSA 10s just yet for any of these cards because of course it's so early. But we should expect, you know, much crazier prices. Again, looking at, it's just a point I wanted to bring up before. You know, we're looking before, this is Saturday, November the 1st, that we're looking at, $785. This is as well the first, and this sale we had just 2 days ago at 1,000. We are seeing that price point dip now, as you can see, you know, that's $750 as of today. So where this was $1,000 a few days ago, you know, 3 days ago, we are now seeing it dip down to roughly 700 as the floor, 750, you know. So just want to be mindful of when you are buying cards this early. You know, if you are a collector and you are hungry for the cards, I can't stop you, but I would ask that you exercise some restraint and just wait a bit. We see Teemo signature. This sold for 900. You know, it's a great card. I'm happy it sold for 900. Teemo deserves the love. Yeah, I hate him, but I love him also. So I'm glad he got that price point. Again, we see another one, 850 as well for Teemo. So we are seeing that, you know, 1,000, 900, 850, 900, 950 space for Teemo. It's all good in my books. We see a Volibear here, 1,200, and we see a few of them actually hitting around the 900 space, which surprises me, to be honest, that we are seeing this price point still for Volibear. But I do expect this to depress over time to roughly the 750 to 800, you know, price point. And again, this is all as the market continues to grow. Once we are out of print in the next, let's say, 3 years time, we will see these prices go up. So if you like these cards and you have them or you've pulled them, just keep them in a binder, or maybe not in a binder, put them in a top loader and just keep them away for a rainy day. And once the card is out of print, maybe if you have a few of them, throw some in PSA 10, you know, just have a good time, and you should see happy around these cards that you have, which will allow you to either do one of two things: move them around. So if you go to a card show and you want another card around similar value, you can move them around without converting into USD, which is good. Or at the same time, if you do want to get your money back and more from what you had initially put in, then that opportunity is there as well. So and then lastly, we see the Leona signature. Again, very gorgeous card. The signature is very dope as well. And we see this sell 4,000 as well. Again, I expect these prices to depress over time, but this is a very gorgeous Leona card. So, you know, compare this Leona card to if we go to the Darius, if I can find it again, you know, does this card really represent the character Darius? You know, is this the Darius that we know? You know, that leaves blood everywhere, you know, hemorrhaging the opponents? In my opinion, no. And then we see this, is this a great representation of Leona, the Radiant Dawn, you know, the support character that, you know, from Mount Targon? Yes, you know, so it makes sense that this price point, this is hitting this 1,000 price point, because this is a great representation of Leona. So that's another thing to be mindful of these cards, and I'll do more analysis like this as we move forward, as more and more cards are revealed. I say that, you know, Spirit Forge is out soon. We don't have, you know, much longer. It releases in December for China. It is now in November, so we will start to see the remaining cards revealed for this set. I expect great things, and I'll do a breakdown of the cards once they're revealed, and we can have that discussion. Alright, we'll leave it there. It's probably hit 30 minutes. I pressed the timer on my phone a bit late, so I see 27 minutes and a half, but we are probably at 30 minutes. Again, guys, I appreciate it if you guys are sticking to the end. I don't expect you to. I expect roughly 10%. But if we can see similar numbers, you know, the last video did 1.2k. That's crazy. If this video does 500 and there's 50 people watching to 30 minutes, that's amazing. I'm very happy. So I'd like to sort of see that continue. 10% is a happy number. I'm happy with. If I can get to 20%, you know, that blows my mind, and that's a great number to be consistent with. But I'll stop rambling before this goes to like 32, 33 minutes. As always, let me know what you think about the current state of the market. What cards are you interested in getting? What cards are you not too interested in? I'll probably spend the next video looking at the lower price points, so the non-signature versions, as well as the alt arts. So anything below sort of $300 and below, we'll have that discussion tomorrow. Alright guys, stay safe, have a good time, you know, enjoy the Riftbound, and I'll speak to you guys on the next one. Thanks everyone.